Hi. So in our previous video, I introduced the Sentinel project organization, gave a bit of history about what we've been doing and also what we are up to now. And in this video, I'll focus on the community ambassadors who are very critical in the work of our organization in terms of when we implement a project, as they participate in data intake, investigation, and dissemination. And so I'll be using a very practical examples from our work in Kenya with the Unahakika project, and also Hagige Wahid project that we've been working on in South Sudan and Northern Uganda, with the hope that through these experiences, we'll be able to brainstorm on ways in which we can also customize our initiatives in different societies and also contexts, just to make sure that the organization work is effective to each local context, while appreciating the diversity of regions, communities that we intend to serve. So we started our project in Tana River County of Kenya, in Tana Delta sub-county to be specific. And this is an area that is sparsely populated and has experienced disasters such as flooding in the previous years. The area is marked with food insecurity. There are high levels of poverty, and the communities around the area are mostly pastoralists, farmers, fishermen, and then you have another minority groups that practice hunting and gathering. So the river itself, I believe the county got the name from River Tana, which is a vast water body infested by wild animals. And most of the community around the area rely on the river as a source of livelihood, for grazing, domestic use, for their domestic animals, and also for doing farming activities. So most of it is that the majority community, who are the Orma, practice pastoralism, and the farmers are from another kind of, also a predominant community called the Pokomo, who do farming just along the river. So the Orma, who are very conservative, are basically the herders, and majority of them are Muslims. Most of them have not embraced education because they prefer their traditional way of lifestyle. So they do mostly recruit the young generation into herding, and do some small portion of the Orma practice farming, but in very small scale. Then the Pokomo community, are the farmers. Majority of them have embraced modern day education. So you'll find most of the Pokomos practicing different professions like education, health, and most of them just do farming along the river as a source of livelihood. Having a good number of them are Christians, and then there is also a minority population of the Pokomo who are Muslims. So we visited Tana Delta around 2013 after a massacre that led to the loss of hundreds of lives and displaced many thousands, and many also were injured. And this is one of the mass graves that we visited in one of the villages where around 60 people were killed and laid in, including women and children. And while we were trying to understand the root cause of the violence, there are so many factors that were at play, including historical injustices that were not addressed, uh, competition for resources like water body and land. There are also issues to do with the intentional grazing of the pastoralists on farming land, and also the killing of domestic animals by the farmers due to trespass. And so the situation was very complex. However, we also learned that rumors played a very significant role in fueling the conflict, because there are rumors around a community stockpiling weapons to go and destroy the other community, rumors around impending attacks, there are rumors around poisoning of water wells, communities accusing each other of rape, communities accusing each other of using vaccines that are poisoned on children instead of the proper medicine. And so we moved in as an organization that intended to focus on dealing with the problem of misinformation and spread of rumors by helping the communities gain access to accurate information. And how we did this was establishing a toll-free SMS line where community members would subscribe. And then after subscribing to the SMS platform, they'll always send in rumors they hear. And as an organization, we help verify these rumor reports. And after verifying them, we report back to the community members with the neutral, accurate information from a trusted source. So that's how we started. And we realized the importance of having community ambassadors or volunteers from each village just to support the system, so that whenever these community ambassadors hear rumors emanating from their own village or from other villages, we'll just contact the community ambassadors in those other villages and then verify whether whatever is alleged is true or false, and then give back accurate information. So the ambassadors are a very important component of the project, from data intake, verifying, and also dissemination of accurate information. So before I proceed, I'll just like you to take a minute and think about rumors that you had recently within your community that are very harmful, that could spike violence. And after thinking about that, you can just write them down, and then we'll revisit those rumors and see how we can work on them, and then kind of also compare different types of rumors from different parts of the globe. So rumors are very dangerous, especially in communities that have lived together, having different cultures and lifestyle, because they break the trust between the two communities. So for example, if an Orma, who is a pastoralist, receive a rumor about planned attacks by Pokomo youth, what the Ormas will do will, for example, take their women and children and hide them in the bush, and then arm themselves in readiness for war. So these kind of rumors, they lead to a lot of mistrust between communities and tensions, because people cannot now live in peace. They live thinking about what will happen next. In that kind of uncertainty, there is a lot of fear that grips the community. And also one of the bad thing about rumors is that they keep sustaining the existing grudge among communities, because they keep reminding people about killings, about the injustices that have been done on them or their community members. And also rumors degrade government response mechanism. And in this case, I mean, a good example is when we went to Tana Delta, and the area security personnel would just tell us how many times they have been told about a group of 1,000 men who are armed in a certain bush. They'll take their vehicle, move into the area swiftly, and on arrival, they realize that there are no facts, there are just rumors. So the government wastes a lot of resources trying to move around. The same happened, for example, in South Sudan, where there are rumors about the death of their president, Salva Kiir. And what happened is in 2016, I believe, the government had to take the president around the country on a kayak just to prove to the people that he's still alive. So such rumors cause a lot of tension, fear, distrust, and they also derail the peace process. Why Unahakika is important is because the platform helps to fill these information gaps that allow rumors to thrive. Because without a reliable source of information, then there is a very big vacuum that rumor freely flows, and community members are left just guessing, wanting to know more about things that they can't be able to know more about. So the good thing about Unhakika or Hagigo Ahid project that we've been doing is also that we've been training people on the importance of verifying rumors, so they don't make decision based on rumors or take any action that will be harmful based on rumors they hear, but they kind of have that critical mindset of questioning information they hear before taking any action. And also we train people on the negative impacts of spreading rumors. So this project has been very useful in building the lost trust among community members, building networks of interaction, because we train community ambassadors of peace in all villages, regardless of whether the other community has been, whether they have been engaged in long-term violence or not. And our long-term goal is to inspire change of attitudes regarding rumors and verification. So after our years of operation in Tana Delta, we've been able to bring these two communities together as community ambassadors who are role models that the other communities can look up to. And these community ambassadors have been branded sources of accurate information. The community trusts them. They'll go to them and ask questions about rumors they hear. And they have been very helpful also, collaborating the flow of information between their local communities and Sentinel project. So what are the role of the community ambassadors? One of them is to represent the organization on the grassroots. So when we talk about Unahakika, the community ambassadors are the people who are seen on the ground. They also assist in all stages of rumor management process, that is monitoring rumor reports. So we crowdsource rumor reports through our SMS platform, and with the help of the community ambassadors, they share with us whatever they hear around their communities. And they also participate in rumor verification, that is investigating rumor reports. At times, there are rumors that need people to go physically and confirm. At times, there is need to reach out the local authority or the local leader. So the community ambassadors play a very critical role in investigating the reports. And finally, they help in information sharing. So with the community ambassadors, there are people who, for example, don't own mobile phones. There are people who are illiterate. The community members can easily reach to our community ambassadors and also share back accurate information from a trusted source, which is a Sentinel project. So they are very important, because if there is a rumor from village A and someone in village B has heard about the rumor and asks about it, we'll just reach to our community ambassadors in village A. They do investigations and tell us what is happening in their own community, and then we can report to the person in village B about the accuracy of the information, whether it's true, false, or it was impossible to verify. And then lastly, the Community ambassadors encourage the community members to subscribe to the system and benefit from the valuable information that is disseminated through the system, and in the long term contribute to the peace building process. The community ambassadors help in answering basic questions about the project, and these questions would mean what is the organization all about, how it works, the tools used, ways of sending information, and how the information, as this feedback is going to be sent back to the community members. So it is very important that we talk about the most important values of a community ambassador. The first one is honesty. As a community ambassador, it is important to maintain high levels of honesty in all aspects of your roles, impartiality. So when rendering your services as a volunteer, we expect that you treat each person equally despite their religion, race, gender, or ethnic group. And then confidentiality is also important for a community ambassador, not to disclose confidential information during their term as volunteers, as these will help people build also confidence in the project in general, build trust around sharing information in the project. And so I think it is worth mentioning that these values are very important to any person who participates in the project. Then at this stage, it is also important to share a little bit about the skills that are relevant to community ambassadors. So cultural adaptation, where it is important for one to be able to blend because you'll be dealing with different diverse people from different backgrounds, and having a wide understanding of the cultures and the geographical area is very important. Then it's important to have very keen observational skills, paying close attention to details and be able to compile and retain meaningful and relevant information. Then it's important for an ambassador to have good interpersonal skills, interact well with others, have good social interactions, and be able to participate in social functions, keep close and healthy relationship with other community members. Then self-reliance. In the field, it's good to be able to work independently, have personal composure and believe in what you see, and not rely on hearsays or rumors. Have a very good way of judging things. Then finally, it's good for our community ambassadors to be a good listener. And this is through taking time to understand, even if things seem to be least important to the ambassador. From a personal analysis, it is not good to quickly judge, but give a good listening ear. Then there are very important things that need to be captured while reporting rumors and information. And these include the location where the rumor was heard from. So with this, I mean a rumor might be heard in village X, but reported in village Y. So if you report about where the rumor is heard, then you give us the location where the rumor is about. We are able now to kind of map that rumor. If it jumped from village X to Y, and then it was heard in village Z the following day, then it becomes very easy for us to track the flow of that information and then provide effective counter messaging. Then date and time is also very important, because there are rumors that need to be worked on expeditiously within the shortest time possible. And there are rumors that can wait at times when especially people send in information, they want to ask questions about things that are outside our scope of operation, or even in different other parts of the country. Then the content of the rumor, that's the incident type. Was it a killing, rape allegations, or theft? Because there are so many different incidents or rumors that can spark violence. Then it's also important to talk about the incident itself, because an incident in village A will be a rumor in another village. So when we record these incidents, then we are able to report back to other people who receive it as rumors. So our work has not been without a lot of challenges, and it's important for a community ambassador to understand that there existing challenges or challenges they anticipate to face while carrying out their work. And these will include inaccessibility of some villages, poor road networks and terrain that will make it very difficult to reach to intended villages, especially for mass awareness. And then the cultural barriers that will make people understand the project differently. There are cultures, for example, that don't allow women to have mobile phones, or they don't allow women to speak in a meeting where men are, or there are cultures that believe whatever men decide, then the women will just have to accept, move on, and move with the decision that men make. Then there always high expectation on the ground from residents, and by this we mean at times people expect you to provide more than just information. People are used to uh, organization doing schools, organization doing food items, but here we are doing a project that just focus on giving valuable information to the communities. And this reminds me of our experience in Tana Delta when we started our project, and people will tell us we cannot eat information. So that means the community ambassador, is expected to face a lot of challenges while interacting with their own communities. Then it's very important to build trust so people can start uh, seeing the value of the project. If you're able to build trust, then they'll be able to interact with the initiative and then gain the value of it. Then privacy concern, I'll be talking a little bit more about this because people wonder, where do you take the information? How do you use the information that you receive? Whether there are people who will know who reported that information, especially in areas where there have been conflict. They're always worried about the organization sharing the information with the police and all that. Then ambiguity of some rumors. There are rumors that are very strange to handle, hard to handle. When people tell you to investigate a rumor about 1,000 people in the bush, or investigate something that is happening in a different country or region which you're not operating. We expect challenges in terms of burst reporting. There are people who would report rumors, but just take victim position and use that dishonesty to kind of portray the other community as the offender. And then sometimes in the spelling rumors, the rumors might lead to tension. We might, as an organization, have that intention of quelling the situation, but when we dispel the rumor, then they have the potential of spiking violence. For example, if we confirm and verify that someone was killed from this community by members of the other community. So how do we dispel this rumor in a manner that will not lead to tension? So most of the time what we do is delay our response and then wait until there is an action that has been taken, for example, by the police. So when we report back about the rumor, we'll say something like, yes, it's true. Someone from this community was killed by someone from the other community, but the police have taken action and the perpetrator has been arrested, or the perpetrator is already in court and facing judgment. So when we do that, we're able to calm the situation, and it's very different from just reporting back that yes, someone was killed. That will obviously lead to maybe deaths, and yeah. So apart from that, there are challenges of people not willing to share information. especially if you want to verify information from security personnel, information regarding security, then at times it becomes very hard for these people to share information because they'll look at you as trying to gather intelligence. And then we also have a problem with the people not drawing having a very clear distinction between incidents and rumors. But as we said, incidents or events happening in one village may turn out to be rumors in the other village. So it's important to kind of track both events and rumors. So as a volunteer, there are several terms of agreement, engagement, I mean, that are very important to know. That community ambassador is a volunteer position and paid, and we only support at times participants with minimal airtime to facilitate communication between the organization and the volunteers. And then the work of a volunteer is not full-time. Our volunteers only find time to engage with us wherever there are issues or incidents that might lead to tension in their own community. But at the end of the project, we provide certificates of participation as a token of appreciation to the community ambassadors. And it's always important for us to have an agreement as an organization with the volunteer that has the terms of work, and then in terms of engagement, and that helps us also in having a clear record of who works with the organization. So finally, I'll be talking about the community mobilization strategies that we've employed in different parts of the country. And with this, I'll use the examples of Tana Delta. So we started with the organizing and attending peace forums in the area. And peace forums was a forum that involved the security personnel, NGOs doing peace building in Tana Delta area. And then we will request for an opportunity to share with the stakeholders what you are doing and how they can support the project, and also how the project can support their peace building efforts and security efforts. We also did baraza or community forums. This is where we'll just visit a village, talk to the local authorities, area chief and village elders to mobilize for us community members, address them, share with them about the project, and then ask them to subscribe, to willingly subscribe and get the benefits of accurate information. Then we also did evaluations to measure effectiveness of the project, as well as to also capture rumors from individuals and inform them about our peace building efforts, and through that also allow them to subscribe to the system, take them through the subscription process. We also visited places of worship like churches and mosques, and with the permission of the clergy, talk to the faithfuls about the project, and then give them the opportunity to subscribe. Another approach that we used was going to marketplaces, talking to the people, distributing promotional materials like calendars and t-shirts that had information about how to subscribe, what the project is all about, and the value of the project. And with that, then we're able to build the number of our subscriber base. Then we also conducted door-to-door visits with the help of the local community ambassadors. We moved from one house to another, one village to another, talking to individuals and encourage them to subscribe to the system. Then another very interesting approach that we used was getting schedules from different women group meetings, and then attending those women group meetings, requesting for a few minutes to talk to them, share about the project, and after sharing about the project, giving them an opportunity to subscribe. Then we also saw the value of working with the local youth. So with this, we would get a list of the local community-based organization that are youth-led, that are doing, they are fully composed of youths from different ethnic background and religion, then work with those youth as part of the community ambassadors. They'll be at the forefront in sharing to about the project to their peers and encourage them to subscribe to the project. Then we'll organize football tournaments where majority obviously will be youths. Then after the tournaments, we'll sit down and share with the community members about the project and then allow them to subscribe. Another approach is talking to the border riders who are very good messengers in terms of spreading of accurate information and dispelling rumors. So we work close with them and train them to be ambassadors of peace and agents of supporting the initiatives in terms of disseminating accurate information. So after working with the community ambassadors from the different communities, they supported us to build a subscriber base of 16,000 members from across 300 villages. And with their help, all these subscribers will receive text messages from us, and they also interact with the SMS platform, share with us information, and we'll help them verify. So I think at this stage, it is important to now think about what we can do to support the project. How can we quickly recruit the new subscribers into our system? We'll be providing the toll-free number that people can subscribe to. There are different numbers for different regions and areas. And as a community ambassador, it is important also to, to think about approaches that can be used in your local community that will make people aware of the project. And then also, how do you reach out to stakeholders in your locality? And by stakeholders, I mean local NGOs, leaders, the authorities, and also other community-based organizations that are engaged in supporting peace in the area. So far, we are looking at deploying new technology, and it will also be interesting to explore ways in which we can use social media platforms that have been very instrumental in also spreading false information. And we are trying to think about ways of how we can use, for example, WhatsApp and Facebook to crowdsource rumor reports as well as disseminate accurate information back to the communities. Then we have tried to integrate the SMS platform with community radio in Tana River, and it's doing so well, where the community radio supports the SMS platform and the SMS platform supports the radio in crowdsourcing rumor reports, verifying and disseminating accurate information back to the communities. And the combination of this has been very useful in general, as so far the area where we started our initiative is now very peaceful. So there are frequently asked questions that I like us to just go through quickly as I conclude. People normally ask about how we build trust, so people trust the project and they are able to send information, trust the organization with the information. This is through the community ambassadors, how the community ambassadors conduct themselves on the ground. Are they agents of disseminating information that is accurate, working with local authorities and other stakeholders in looking for ways in which we can share information that is verified back to the communities, working very closely with the leaders that are trusted at local level. And by that, I mean youth group leaders, women leaders, the clergy, as well as the local area chiefs, and those kind of people. Then privacy concern, people always want to know what we do with the information, whether we share the information with the security personnel, for example, if it's information that regards security. But the good thing about our tools is that whatever information we post on Wikirumors, for example, is anonymized, and most of this data is stored outside the servers in the country, so making it very hard for other people to access this information. And we also train the community ambassadors and encourage them to maintain confidentiality. And whenever we are reporting, for example, a security incident to the local authorities, we don't say individual X and Y gave us information about this security issue, but we report it as an organization that Sentinel project has received this information from point A, B, C, and it's concerned these security issues, so can you address it? And then because most people fear being witnesses in courts or victims, being victimized over information they provide, then there are also questions about what we do with the information. Normally, we just keep the information, and after verifying and disseminating back accurate information, then that's the end of what we can do further is make sure, for example, there is an intervention by an organization or the security personnel, and then that's the end of where the information goes. Then it's important to keep relations with the local authority, making sure that we work together with, say, the security personnel and the local leaders, but also maintain our independence so that we are not we are careful to make sure the project is not hijacked by the security personnel or people wanting to use it for their own personal gain. We also try our best to send feedback as soon as possible. In terms of time taken to send information back, it always varies with the type of rumor. There are rumors that we can immediately verify and report back to the community members, but there are those that takes a bit of time to verify. And also, as I mentioned earlier, there are those which are very sensitive that will need us to package the message very well, delay a bit just to make sure it does not affect the people receive it back. It does not lead to tensions and worsen the situation. So sensitive rumors are many, like when we confirm that someone has been killed or someone has stolen or a certain perpetrator has, for example, raped a person from a different community. So with this kind of information, we're always very careful how we package it, and then delay mechanism that I mentioned previously, and also make sure that we are able to first know what the perpetrator, the justice that have been served to the perpetrator before sending back the information. So with that, that marks the end of my presentation. I think now the most important thing for a community ambassador is to share with us what you think we can do in your local area to get the most number of people subscribed to the project. Feel free to share your thoughts via email. And with this pandemic, it might be impossible to go back to the communities and start doing mobilization the normal way that we've been doing things. But if you have ideas of other ways that you can use to reach out to your community and build a subscriber base, kindly feel free to send an email to my email that is down here. And thank you very much for watching and listening. And we'll be giving the last installment of video that will be taking us through Wiki platform, how to use it, how to post rumors on it. And from there, I think we'll just have to organize a one-on-one session where you'll be free to ask your question live and we'll be happy to answer them.